Good morning and happy Thanksgiving Day. In the United States, Canada has a Thanksgiving. I forgot to Google when they celebrate their Thanksgiving. Second Monday in October. And of course, in the United States, it's the fourth Thursday in November. And I'm in beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of the Inland Empire in Southern California. Hi, Freeman, in the chat. It's kind of misty outside. I wouldn't call it fog, but things are kind of gray. Yes, I'm live on Thanksgiving Day. Hi, at Sequentia. Welcome in. Oh, wow, what a day. Well, we have a community Thanksgiving. Hi, Nisha. We have a community feast, and I'm really unable to attend, so some nice volunteer will bring me a turkey dinner sometime this morning. So if I have to run and answer the door, well, hobble and answer the door, you'll know why. Okay. Let me type in the chat. Awesome possum. I have listeners. I hope you have a nice dinner with family. Well, Nisha, Thanksgiving is when some of the early settlers in this land had their first harvest. They were starving. And then the Native Americans helped them learn how to grow crops and hunt and so forth. And the settlers had a big feast, and the Native Americans joined them and brought food so that everyone had plenty to eat. But it did not become a national holiday here until, the 20th century. Let me check for sure. Come on. Okay. Well, George Washington, our first president, issued a proclamation for the holiday in 1789, but it was like a one-time deal. Here we go. In 1939, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt moved the Thanksgiving holiday 1 week earlier than normal, believing that doing so would help bolster retail sales during one of the final years of the Great Depression. This led to much upheaval and protest, causing some to deride the holiday as Franksgiving. Abraham Lincoln made Thanksgiving a holiday. But I'm sure that there was something in the 20th century. Let's see. In 1870, President Grant signed into law the Holidays Act that made Thanksgiving a yearly appointed federal holiday in Washington, D.C. But Lincoln had already proclaimed the fourth Thursday of November as a day of thanksgiving and praise. Well, anyway, we traditionally eat turkey, but some people eat ham or roast beef with all kinds of side dishes. Oh, Freeman needs to grab the half chicken he has in the fridge. Okay, and he's back now. Well, anyway, it's I've got to close a pop-up. All right. We usually have turkey and stuffing, although they say now not to stuff the turkey with the bread and other goodies for stuffing, just make it separately and call it dressing. It's still stuffing, it's the same thing. But if you cook it inside the turkey, they think there's danger of bad bugs making you ill. I already made the stuffing without a turkey because nobody makes it the way I do. I add raisins, which are not grapes, they're dried grapes. In Europe, I think you call them currants. But there's another fruit called currants, so we all get confused. But I add those and water chestnuts and walnuts, and you have all this dried bread like croutons. So I pour gravy over it to moisten the bread. And since I didn't have a turkey this year, oh my God, the price of turkey. I got a can of turkey gravy. Yeah, I generally actually put the stuffing in the bird and pull it out and keep it warm in the oven before serving. But I have no reason to cook a whole turkey for me, although I love to do it anyway. I used to have a dog to help me eat it. Now it's just the cats. And Tora seems to think that people food is not edible unless it's canned tuna fish. Anyway, and then we'll have sweet potatoes and mashed potatoes and some kind of vegetables, like maybe green beans with bacon and some kind of nuts or sesame seeds. Slices of almond is good, or pine nuts. Yeah, Nietzsche speaks as European, except for American. Well, Americans are not exactly European. Oh, Freeman, the cats love the treats. They're almost half gone now. Of course, there are 6 cats. I can't move the tub to show you because my modem is sitting on top of it. Well, anyway, Freeman's working on a box that will handle dry ice. Send me a whole load of bacon, huh? Well, you could order it from Omaha Steaks, but their prices are rather exorbitant. I like to get it locally because I know where it came from. By the way, this morning instead of tea, I have Alka-Seltzer. And then I also have my water and my coffee. Oh, Freeman wants to be sneaky breaky. Whatever. Back when I was doing well, I used to just order online, like things like Omaha steaks and Schwann's before they got bought up and their food became inedible. Schwann's had their own trucks to bring stuff to you, and the best ice cream in the universe, but they've changed. Now they're yellow, Yelloh, and I'm not buying any more of their crap. Even things that had nothing wrong with them were substandard, especially for the price. Oh, Alka-Seltzer is my way of getting aspirin that's buffered so it won't hurt my tummy. It's just because my back, I don't always notice the pain in my back, but it's always there. But I'm not having a particularly bad day today. I will have to go out to the mini mart around the corner today because I'm out of milk. For me, it just isn't a Thanksgiving dinner without a glass of cold milk. Anyway, I promised something about AI. Let me see if I can. Let me see. I saved the article on my computer desktop, but yes, I can get you the link to the article. Come on, you evil computer. Give me back my YouTube. It's AI hallucinations. Artificial intelligence apparently has a problem. It isn't quite exactly hallucinations. The title of the article is AI Hallucinations, quote, direct threat, end quote, to science, dash dash, or M dash if you prefer, researchers. And it was updated on 21 November 2023, written by Vilius Petkauskas, deputy editor. And there's a picture of a laptop computer and a microscope with the caption, an Oxford University study warns against artificial intelligence hallucinating content into existence, threatening to contaminate science with biased and false information. And the article, a group of Oxford University researchers called for restrictions on the use of large language models, LLMs, in research to limit the impact of AI's hallucinations on scientific results, a recent study said. And the reason this article was flagged to me is the next sentence. While hallucinating AI sounds like something straight out of a novel by Philip K. Dick, the concept is real. Come on, you evil computer. Oh, Freeman found an article on Facebook that says neurology disproves the soul. They're full of it. Science can neither prove nor disprove anything that's non-material. They can't even prove quantum physics or string theory. Well, anyway, back to the article. Oh, come on, quit messing with me, evil computer. Okay, so the concept is real. It manifests when AI systems create something that looks very convincing but has no basis in the real world. Moreover, researchers argue that LLMs, such as ChatGPT or Bard, are trained using online sources that don't always contain factually correct information and may lead the LLM to respond with false statements, opinions, or fiction. I'll encourage you to read the article for yourself. I'll put the link in again. Well, anyway, there's also another YouTube channel, Steve Leto, Lehto. That's the name of his YouTube channel. He's a lawyer, and he had today a short video, maybe 10 minutes, about AI being used to accept or deny claims on your medical insurance. There's a lawsuit claiming that many patients have been wrongly denied benefits by their insurance companies, and that the insurance companies are using artificial intelligence, AI, to make the decisions about whether to pay or deny health insurance claims. And some people have been hospitalized and had to pay tens of thousands of dollars because insurance turned them down. In one case, a man was denied rehab. I don't know whether he had surgery or what, but after treatment, the hospital sent him to extended care, and the claim was denied, and his family had to come up with $70,000. And you can appeal and get your claim reinstated, but it'll just get denied again and again and again. So check out Steve Leto's YouTube channel. He covers all kinds of good stuff, like that darned civil forfeiture. Let's say the cops pull you over. You don't have any contraband in your car, so you go ahead and let them search it, and they find cash, and they keep it and say, well, we think this cash is related to a crime, we're keeping it. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to charge you with a crime. You have to sue them in civil court if you want your money back, and in most cases, the lawsuit will cost you more than the money that they stole from you. So there's a nonprofit legal service that's fighting to end this craziness. It is not a crime to have cash. It just isn't. Well, we think you might be going to buy drugs, or we think maybe you sold drugs to get this money. but they never charge you with a crime. They just take your money. It's wrong. Okay, you want me to look up an old mathematician from the 1700s named Euler? Oh, Euler. Of course, he's German. English-speaking people would say Euler, but it's Euler, Euler. He showed mathematically that God must exist. Okay. Well, the Swiss mostly speak German, some speak French. So it's a German name. See, Germany didn't really exist as a country until the late 1800s when Kaiser Wilhelm united the German states. It was just an ethnicity, not a country. Let me see. Google is my friend. The Wikipedia. Oh well. One of my keys on my keyboard is sticky. The unification of Germany was a process of building the first nation state for Germans with federal features based on the concept of Lesser Germany. Blah, blah, blah. Under the Peace of Prague, 1866. But here we go. Here's a good one. Office of the Historian. Let me give you the link. The darn Prussians. Prussia used to be about half of what is modern-day Poland. Oh, thank God there's a summary because it's a huge long article. When the United States, blah, blah, blah. Okay, during the mid-18th century, a rival developed between the Holy Roman Empire's two largest and strongest states, the Kingdom of Austria, ruled by the Habsburgs, and the Kingdom of Prussia, ruled by the Hohenzollerns. Traditionally, Austria was the dominant German state, and as such, the Habsburg king was elected as the Holy Roman Emperor. That's a Catholic thing. This influence started to change in the 1740s when Prussia, strengthened by newly acquired lands and an enlarged military, began to challenge Austria's hegemony. The Kingdom of Prussia was the first German state to officially recognize the United States in 1785. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to the meat of the matter. Come on, come on. Here we go. The first effort at unifying the German states came in the Revolutionary year, 1848. Once news of the February 1848 revolution in Paris spread, many felt that the time was finally at hand for German unification. Rural riots broke out in the weeks after February 1848 and spread to the urban areas. Throughout the German states, revolutionaries advocated for freedom of the press, a national militia, I got eye itchies, a national German parliament, and trial by jury. Other ideas that were championed during the heady days of 1848 were the abolition of privilege of the aristocracy the creation of constitutions in several of the German states, and a more fair system of taxation and freedom of religion. Now, that all sounds good, but here we go. The next attempt at German unification, a successful one, was undertaken by Otto von Bismarck, the Prime Minister of Prussia. Bismarck was a proponent of smaller Germany, smaller in quotes, not to mention a master at the game of realpolitik. German unification was achieved by the force of Prussia and enforced from the top down, meaning that it was not an organic movement that was fully supported and spread by the popular classes, but instead was a product of Prussian royal policies. The first war of German unification was the 1862 Danish War, begun over the duchies of Schleswig and Holstein. And this is me talking now. Even to this day, Germany and Denmark have disagreements over who holds Schleswig-Holstein. The two have been combined, and right now they're part of Denmark. Okay, Bismarck, back to the article, Bismarck allied with Austria to fight the Danes in a war to protect the interests of Holstein, a member of the German Confederation. The Second War of German Unification was the 1866 Austro-Prussian War, which settled the question of, quote, smaller versus, quote, greater Germany. This brief war, parenthesis, fought over the course of mere weeks, end parenthesis, pitted Prussia and her allies against Austria and other German states. Prussia won and directly annexed some of the German states that had sided with Austria, parenthesis, such as Hanover and Nassau, end parenthesis. In an act of leniency, Prussia allowed some of the larger Austrian allies to maintain their independence, such as Baden and Bavaria. In 1867, Bismarck created the North German Confederation, a union of the northern German states under the hegemony of Prussia. Several other German states joined, and the North German Confederation served as a model for the future German Empire. The third and final act of German unification was the Franco-Prussian War of 1870 to 71, orchestrated by Bismarck to draw the Western German states into alliance with the North German Confederation. Actually, guys, so we're fighting over that lovely wine country. I should know the name of it, but it's not coming to me. It's in France now. With the French defeat, the German Empire was proclaimed in January 1871 in the palace at Versailles, France. From this point forward, foreign policy of the German Empire was made in Berlin, with the German Kaiser, parenthesis, who was also the King of Prussia, end parenthesis, accrediting ambassadors of foreign nations. Relations were severed when the U.S. declared war upon Imperial Germany in 1917. There's much, much more to it, but I want to get to Kaiser Wilhelm. He was the King of Prussia who became the Emperor of Germany. Wilhelm II was the last German emperor and king of Prussia from 1888 until his abdication in 1918. he gave up the throne, which marked the end of the German Empire and the of Hohenzollerns 300-year reign in Prussia and 500-year reign in Brandenburg. So the Kaiser was not a strong man. Wilhelm I died in 1888, and Wilhelm II, I assume his son, abdicated. They'd dress up in uniform and act militaristic, but they were not soldiers by any stretch of the imagination. Freeman wonders how the Danes will like it when the U.S. acquires Greenland from them. Are we doing that? Oh dear. Just what we need, spread our corruption to another land. Alsace-Lorraine, thank you, Freeman. Yeah, Alsace-Lorraine, for centuries, France and the various German territories have fought over that wine country. And I'm sure Austria fought over it too. It's Sequentia says, after all, 80s are the cradle of modern civilization, culture, and society as we know them today. You mean the 1880s or what? Or people who are 80 years old? Lord, what a day. Well, anyway, artificial intelligence. I keep saying, I'll say it again, GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. They're programmed by humans. I gotta turn off the heater. It's blasting me. No, come on. Come on. There, here. Well, it was really cold when I first sat down here, so I picked up the heater. But I also have a big pot of water simmering on the stove to warm the kitchen and get some moisture into the air. The glorious decade? Oh, the 1980s? I don't consider the 80s glorious. They were weird. Music sure declined. We had the stars who were known more for their costumes than their voices, singers. Sheesh. Well, anyway, artificial intelligence is not true intelligence, no matter what they tell you. I mean, if you or I read an article or a blog post that is nonsense, we are capable of discarding it. AI is not. Although it does seem to be really good at searching YouTube videos for keywords. Really good. Oh, the kitties. Patches keeps trying to cuddle with Tora, but the most she can manage without being hissed away is to sleep beside her. Let me move the camera and show you. Come on. Wrong way. There's Patches right behind Tora. Aw. Patches is cute when she isn't being hyperactive. But let's see, yesterday Tora took a daytime nap with me, and then Tutu slept with me all night. Let's see. I think that the 1960s were a great decade for music, not so much for culture. We had what we call the British invasion. It did include the Beatles, and although some of their songs are really good, I was not truly impressed by the Beatles. But, let's see what else. The Animals, I think they were British. Um, Rolling Stones. What's his name? Rod Stewart. It's amazing. Rod Stewart became famous after his voice broke. And it became this gravelly, damaged throat sound. But Maggie May was his big hit. And I've seen him on talk shows. They'll ask him, because so many singers get tired of singing the one big hit that everybody wants to hear. And so he'd be asked, do you ever get tired of singing Maggie May? He says, no, Maggie May made me rich. If that's what they want to hear, I'm happy to sing it. And he sang it on one talk show, I think it was Johnny Carson. And he showed him, he had the lyrics written on his sleeve of his white shirt. Written on the sleeve because he couldn't remember them. He was getting old even then. And then he did a show that's probably available on DVD and Blu-ray where he sang some of the big band hits from the 40s. Amazing. I got nothing against the big bands, especially Benny Goodman, because I have a special love for the clarinet. The 70s began to get really wild. Bands like Kiss, where my son just had to have their albums because of their crazy face makeup. They claimed that they had jobs like at banks and such, so they didn't want their boss to know that they also sang rock and roll. Their music was pretty good, but not outstanding, but good. And then we had a lot of one-hit wonders. I can't name one at the moment. But I did once buy an album only to find that aside from the one hit, the band sucked. Well, Rod Stewart's career, I seem to remember him in the 70s. I suppose his voice hadn't broken yet. Once his voice broke and he became all gravelly, then he became a big hit. Oh yeah, I have heard Woody Allen play clarinet, but of course Woody Allen is like persona non grata now. Well, I'm going to have to move the motor. Oh, here he's, except Tora, she's sleeping. There we go. That's my good little Tora. She's a sweetie. Okay, here you go. Right there. Anyway, let's see. Freeman says it's true kids really did have day jobs up until they finally broke through and the supermarket's loading dock. How long his tongue is, he should keep it in his mouth. Lucas, and by the 80s the best music was underground. And Lucas thinks the real decline began in the 90s. I can't type and talk at the same time. I screw up both of them. Okay. Gene Simmons is really Chaim Bitz? Wow. Didn't know that. The one that my son and I both liked was named Musicians Were Very Good. Oh, he's from Haifa, et Sequentia says. Okay. Lucas, I don't know those bands you named. Tuxedo Moon and CCCP? No. Don't know. Tora, you're a pest. She knows that there's treats to be had. Here you go, right there. No, you're not going to eat off my desk this time. I guess you are. She's insistent and persistent. Okay, eat off my desk. See if I care. Cats. That's all you get. Leave me alone. Sorry about the buffering. I don't see a problem on my end. Okay. Anyway, Tora, get off my case. That's all you get. If I give you more, you'll erp them up, and then I have to clean up your erp. So quit. Yes, you're a good kitty. Now leave me alone. I put the ashtray on the edge of the desk to discourage her from climbing up on the desk. Well, anyway, it's Thanksgiving. Okay. Well, I guess I'll Google Gene Simmons since Etsy Quentia wants to know things that I don't know. Twitter. Let's see. Gene Simmons Vault. Gene Simmons Verified on Facebook. Okay. He was born in Israel. Come on. Played the bass, huh? All right. Simmons was born Chaim Witz on August 25, 1949. Let's put the link in the chat. His mother, Flora, was a Hungarian Holocaust survivor who watched her family die in the concentration camps when she was only 14 years old. After the end of World War II, Flora headed to Israel. It was there that she met a carpenter named, I'm actually editing as I read, Yaichel Witz, the man who would eventually become Simmons's father. Yaichel and Flora's marriage began to dissolve shortly after Simmons's birth, mainly over arguments about money. Eventually, they agreed to separate, with Yaichel leaving for Tel Aviv to look for work. The family would never unite, and Simmons would not see his father again. His mother raised him alone. They struggled in poverty. Flora found work in a coffee shop and often left Simmons in the care of babysitters. As a result, he quickly became fluent in Turkish, Hungarian, Hebrew, and Spanish in order to communicate with caregivers. When he was 8 years old, in 1958, he and his mother immigrated to New York to live with relatives in Flushing, Queens. After entering the country, Simmons changed his name to Gene because it was easier to pronounce, and took his mother's surname, Klein. He quickly learned English through comic books and television and entered the Hasidic Theological Seminary called Yeshiva at the age of 9. He studied rigorously while his mother worked at a button factory in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. That's amazing. Well, thanks for bringing it up, Freeman. Oh, it was the Russians who liberated the camp. Auschwitz? Humph. Well, anyway, there's lots more on that website that I linked in the chat. Ah. Once my turkey dinner arrived, I had to go forth and get some milk. Fortunately, the mini mart at the gas station around the corner sells milk. I still can't walk very far. Once in October, I actually walked to the post office, with many stops along the way to sit down and rest. A whole quarter of a mile. And I made it back home too, but just barely made it home. So I'm better off going around the corner rather than down the street. But it just isn't Thanksgiving dinner without a glass of cold milk. Wow, what a side, but the leaves on the rose bushes are all shot. I'm going to have to do a short video on the phone to show you the roses. Quote, in his autobiography, Simmons admits his musical interests came while watching the Beatles on television one night, end quote. So the Beatles did some good. Yeah. Mom used to play one Beatles song over and over on a 45 disc or platter, whatever you want to call it, 45 RPM. Yes, we had record players and AM radios. FM radios were too expensive. Anyway, the Beatles song Revolution. You play it over and over. We don't want a revolution, you know. We don't want to change the world. Okay. But when you, and then I've forgotten the rest of the words. When you talk about, let's see, lyrics, let's see if that's enough for Google to find it. You say it's evolution. Well, you know, we all want to change the world. But when you talk about destruction, don't you know it's going to be all right? Repeat that a couple times. You say you got a real solution. Well, you know, we all love to see the plan. Oh, we'd all love to see the plan. You ask me for a contribution? Well, you know, we're all doing what we can. But if you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait. And more, don't you know it's going to be all right? You say you'll change the Constitution. Well, you know, we'd all love to change your head. You tell me it's the institution. Well, you know, you better free your mind instead. But if you go carrying pictures of Chairman Mao, you ain't going to make it with anyone anyhow. And in that context means you won't get laid. Don't you know it's going to be all right, all right, all right, all right. Well, that's a very shortened version of the lyrics, but it'll do. There are more lyrics. Yeah. Okay. The 60s, though. Johnny Cash was young. So was Neil Diamond. He was just rising as a star. Some of his first jobs were writing jingles for Coca-Cola commercials. And I can't remember any of the lyrics other than Things Go Better with Coke, which already existed. He had to tack it on to the end of the lyrics. Oh, at Sequentia says Revolution sounds by The Who. Another British invader, I believe, written for the presidential campaign of Timothy Leary. Well, Neil Diamond was not a great singer or guitarist, but he wrote his own songs. But yeah, he's not the greatest singer or guitarist. And he was very shy, but once he started doing live shows, he got really into it. A sort of alternate persona took over. the song he edited one of his songs for COVID. The original was hand, reaching out, touching you, touching me, which is part of course, Sweet Caroline. He altered it to, the fact that during COVID we didn't shake hands. We did wash our hands a lot. Darned if I can remember how it went. No, I didn't get to read any, Freeman. My plan is to turn on the laptop for its very own show on an alternate day. I haven't turned it on yet. The cats unplugged it, so I wasn't certain that the battery was still charged, or even got charged. The cats love their treats. I'm saving the little packets of wet treats because they're just enough for one cat, and that has to be Tora when the little spare cats are not around. Anyway, Tora got her canned tuna fish this morning. And when she'd eaten all she wanted, then the spare cats got to eat what was left. The CD-ROM player needs to be serviced? Well, that sucks. It'll scratch your CD-ROM. That's good to know. So I just won't use it. Well, hi, Tutu. Coming to say hi to your adoring fans? Come on. All right. She just wants treats. Let's get Tutu on camera. My little ballerina kitty. Yeah, she's a sweetie. Timid but very affectionate. Fortunately, I have a CD player and a VCR. I don't know whether this desktop computer will play a Blu-ray. Probably not, but it will play CDs. I'm glad you warned me about the CD player because I was considering watching a movie on the laptop. Let's see. That Sequentia says now an AI can write you a whole new original Beatles song and create a music video starring the Beatles riding on giant peacocks between the clouds with a flying yellow submarine. I'm thrilled. Cabling to bridge between them? Between what? The CD player and the VCR. Well, I have them hooked up to the, it's a bigger screen. It's 28 inches bigger. Yeah. I'll just stick with the setup I have for the desktop. They're really heavy on the base, and it bothers me. Do I have a website? Hi, Jorge. I have a blog. Let's see. I never remember. Come on. I'll have to find the link to it because I never remember. Here we go. Wrong one. It's a shift key. C, right one. Weak again. Come on. It's a little better. Let me get a look at it. Sensitive content warning. Oh, stay calm and wash your hands. Okay, but it has a big picture of Torah. But I think this is the one I've neglected. Huh. Okay, all right. But I haven't posted on it since 2020. All right. Now let's see if I can find the other blog, because I no longer remember which one is which. Come on. I guess that must be it, but don't remember. I guess maybe because the other one has been inactive, it's just gone. I've been neglecting all sorts of things. Just out of curiosity. Oh, when I search my name, the first thing that comes up is my Amazon author page. Might as well give you a link to my author page in case you might want to buy a book. Some of my members can get them for free. And here's an interview with Jimmy Church. Oh God, I'm in Wikipedia. Don't believe anything Wikipedia says. Oh, someone reviewed a book called The All in Daylight, also on Goodreads. Waving the thingy around, modem. Well, I'm well over an hour. I think it's time to get back to friends, family, dinner, etc. Oh, now it's back? Buffering's back, or I'm back? Much better? I moved the modem, waved it around, and put it in a different spot. Oh well, what can I say? I will get to Amazon now that you've reminded me. I'd better do it as soon as I sign off. The cats are beginning to fuss. They want me to open the door for them. Patches, settle down. You're worse than Tora, and she's pretty bad. I gotta let the cats out. Let's open the door so the kitties can go out and play. I think Tora wants out too, doesn't she? Huh? In or out, kitty cats. Go on, in or out. You too, Smokey. Go on. That's good, kitty cat. Oh, Sweetie wants out. Okay, go on out then. Tora, I can't leave the door open. It's cold out. Go on. You want out? Yes or no? Okay. Hey, it isn't that cold. It's a bit chilly, but not bad outside. All the kitties went out. Family and lots of tryptophan. You know, they say the real reason you get sleepy after Thanksgiving meals is not really the tryptophan, it's just the fact that your tummy is full. And yet they tell us that we should not go to sleep on a full stomach. I suppose you should sit and watch a football game and not do any strenuous exercise until you've digested the meal. Oops. There. I bumped the mouse. Oh, we need an electronic doorbell at cat height so they can annoy me, huh? Into opening the door for them. Oh, I should get a new door with a cat door, but the problem is it might become a raccoon door. And raccoons are dangerous. They're wild animals. They will attack and kill cats, and they will come into your house and eat all the cat food, and even in some cases bite people, and then you have to get a rabies shot. Jorge suffers anxiety. Any suggestions? Well, aside from medication, which might or might not help, or counseling, again, which might or might not help, I meditate. I breathe slowly and deliberately, paying attention to my breath. I sit down. I don't lie down because you feel vulnerable lying down. I sit down and take slow, deep breaths and close my eyes and try to think of pleasant things. I suppose you could leave your eyes open. Sometimes closing your eyes can make you feel anxious because you can't see. Good music helps. And it doesn't have to be soft, gentle music. It can be hard rock, rap, or hip hop, whatever you like. Morgan, hi Morgan. Morgan finds that eating, getting a full belly helps briefly with anxiety. Phil taught me about meditation. I kind of had an idea of what meditation was. The main thing is to pick either a sound or something physical to focus on. I choose to focus on breathing when I'm anxious because the way you breathe affects your anxiety. If you're taking quick, short breaths, you get more anxious. Sorry, the Alka-Seltzer hit my throat wrong. I'll get some water. The main thing is to, quiet your soul. Oh, gosh. I'll get either a turkey or just a turkey breast in December because Christmas is a good time for turkey too. But Thanksgiving, I have two dinners. The dinner they're bringing to me today, and then next Tuesday, the Lions Club is having another turkey. Well, at Sequentia went going and eventually run out and away. If you try to stop them, they'll get more persistent. So acknowledge them and then let them pass through and go out again. I smoked all the Dunhills that Friedman sent me. Oh, phew. Anyway, yeah, my Amazon wish list is so old that half those products probably aren't available anymore. So I have to do some serious editing on it as soon as I get off of YouTube. Okay. I don't know. I hear so many other hosts complain on their channels that people don't want to listen to long videos. They want short ones, 10 minutes or so. But when I'm online, you guys keep me on and engaged and interested. And even those who don't catch me live will listen to the whole hour or two and never complain that it's too long. Some complain that it's too short. Oh, I think it's on Friday night. I'll be on with Solaris Blue Raven, 9 p.m. Pacific. Let's see. Let me type Solaris Blue Raven, and she's at K Core Radio. The K Core Radio. Yeah. Come on. You can listen live for free, but I think you have to pay to listen to a replay. And it's 9 p.m. Pacific time, Friday. I should check that to make sure. I'll check on here on the phone. Okay, let's see. SOLARIS. 24th November. Okay, November 24. Get the calendar to load. Yes, that's this Friday. Tomorrow, in other words. I did an interview on Monday, but it was pre-recorded and will be edited and posted at a later date. Ah. Well, Freeman, you might want to talk to me for days, but I'd have to eat, sleep, and bathe sometime. Okay, now Solaris talks really fast, but she is not as bad as. Uh-oh. I can picture his face and can't remember his name. Is it Ben Shapiro? Let me see. Now I'm not sure of anything. Yeah, she is not as bad as Ben Shapiro. It was just so. He doesn't emphasize any of the syllables. It's just flat monotone and, machine gun fast. I can't stand listening to him. Yes, at Sequentia, I meant Ben Shapiro. Odd, the name Shapiro keeps turning up in my life. One of my cousins married a Shapiro, and her father was a wealthy surgeon. And of course, there was a Shapiro defending O.J. Simpson. Ben Shapiro owes Tommy Robinson a big apology. I'm sure he owes many people big apologies. The English, they say, is not an inflected language, but in many ways it really is. If you're asking a question, your voice rises. You don't say, "Where is that?" You say, "Where is that?" And a word with multiple syllables has one of them emphasized, just a little louder and stronger than the rest of the word. Like we don't say meditate, we say meditate. A little higher pitch, a little louder on the meh part of meditate. Not if you're Ben Shapiro. It's just rat-a-tat, tat, 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 tat. What would infuriate him? Slow talking. Yeah. He seems to think that it's so important to get in as much as possible in as little time as possible that it doesn't matter if old farts like me can't understand a word of it. I can understand it if I focus, but Uh, I generally play talk shows while I'm cooking or cleaning or eating. Slow speak torture it, Sequentius says. It's banned in the Geneva Convention. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll tell you, life with Philip K. Dick was not easy. But life without him isn't easy either. He was bipolar. They used to call it manic depression. He'd be writing a novel and he'd be up around the clock. He'd lie down for half an hour and get up and type some more. And the only way I could keep him fed was to put a plate of food not next to the typewriter. That's a no-no. Don't want food on the paper, but on the dresser in the same room where he was typing. But then he'd be depressed and sleep all day and all night. But he would get up to eat. The cookbook he bought me, I think it was 70 into the upper middle class. Nowadays, that would be poverty line for a family of 3, 2 parents and a child. But we'd been struggling just to pay the rent, and not brand new, and it was 2 years old. It was just a little 2-seater sports car, and Phil had fun with it, but because it's so tiny, he had trouble, with working the pedals with his feet. It was a stick shift, so you had a clutch and a brake and a gas pedal. He had trouble keeping his foot on just one pedal at a time. I had fun with it. Well, Phil really was ill and in pain. He wasn't faking that, but it wasn't the flu. He just called every illness the flu because he didn't know what it was either. We've made a lot fewer alive today. But he also had high blood pressure, dangerously high. And that's what eventually killed him. Well, for me, the creative process is either meditating or falling asleep. And I have a dream or a daydream that inspires a story. Well, Freeman, don't bother submitting your work to publishers. Just go on Amazon and publish it. The easiest way is to make a Kindle book. They'll make the cover for you. They will for any book. You don't have to be an artist. You just fill in the title and the author. And you set the price. You won't probably won't get rich, but you'll be published and people will see your work. Oh, most of the major publishers want to publish books by famous people who don't really need the money, and they'll pay $1 million for a title and never make enough profit to get their $1 million back. They make their money from book club sales, like Book of the Month Club. And they'll also publish some detective stories and some spy thrillers and romance novels. Yeah, don't do vanity press. On Amazon, it's totally free. They don't charge you a penny. There are things you can buy, but you don't have to. They'll make your cover for free. They'll publish it for free. Yeah, I tried one vanity press once. They finally went under because they were scammers. They claimed to be a real publisher and that they were sending your books to critics who would review them. And then we started hearing about complaints where various offices of magazines, newspapers, and so forth would find these boxes of books dumped on their doorstep because that was how they distributed them to critics. Famous author? Well, Philip K. Dick. Stephen King. I'm not good at names. Who wrote the Born Identity? Of course, he's been around for a long time. Yeah, you get a vanity press. They make you buy a bunch of books and then you have to sell them. Yep. Although some authors did start that way. They bought 1,000 copies of their own book and went to various little bookstores signing their books and selling them, and actually made a name for themselves. But that's rare. Um, there's Rita Mae Brown and her cat Sneaky Pie Brown wrote a lot of murder mysteries featuring the cat. There's another Brown writing murder mysteries, but hers aren't very good. I hope I got the first name right. Let me see. Sneaky Pie Brown. What the hell? Wants me to make an online payment. I don't understand it. I'm searching Google and something pops up. Yeah, Rita Mae Brown and Sneaky Pie. The Mrs. Murphy series of mystery novels. Mrs. Murphy is the cat. Freeman says, a funny story about Harlan Ellison. His publisher violated the contract by selling his books in remainder. They were supposed to sell them to him. Oh, yeah, there is Dan Brown. He's famous. They're not allowed to sell remainders. when the bookstore can't sell a book, they send it back. Well, nowadays, most bookstores just tear off the front cover if it's a paperback and send back the front cover and get a rebate for unsold books. Now, well, Harlan Ellison sued everybody, and he did some good by doing that, but I think he went a little overboard. The publisher got back at him, eh? Okay. Yeah. But he had some righteous wins over Hollywood, using his stories without paying him the way they do to so many authors. For example, all I can think of is Day of the Triffids, but that isn't it. There was a movie in which the plants would eat people and take over their identities. That's not only Philip K. Dick's The Father thing, but it's also another author's work. They ripped off both of them. I can't remember the title of the movie. And they got away with it. Oh, well. And Ellison did write some good Star Trek episodes. Like City at the Gates of Forever. Well, who wrote the one with the giant log that ate spaceships? It looked like a giant log. Probably was. Was that Richard Matheson? Faith of Our Fathers is a story in Dangerous Visions, the anthology edited by Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison was the editor of the book. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Thank you, Freeman. Yeah, Faith of Our Fathers was a collection of stories by many different authors. So Harlan Ellison edited it. And one of the stories was Phil's Faith of Our Fathers. Oh, he's really sucked as a person, Harlan Ellison. I don't know if he's still alive. But after trashing all of his friends, he came out publicly in a speech saying, "Oh, I found out I'm bipolar, and that's the reason I'm so mean to people," as if that were an excuse. That everything's good because I'm on medication now. But he continued being an asshole. You're allowed to read things that are not by Philip K. Dick, Freeman. Faith of Our Fathers is a very prophetic story relating to current events. Phil based it on all the resistance to putting fluoride in tap water. Oh, Harlan Ellison died in 2008? Okay. Apparently, he grew up on the streets of New York, but I don't know how much of that story is Harlan Ellison's hype and how much is real. I don't know that French writer, Lucas. And it's French. Houellebecq? Something like that. Don't know. Dang. I keep letting cigarettes burn up in the ashtray. They're too expensive for that. So let's try to smoke this one. Yeah, I managed to meet a few great writers, and I think Norman Spinrad is highly underrated. He's a great writer. Um, when I met Frank Herbert, he was under pressure. He had to get to some place at the Nebula Awards, so he was short with me, but not, I wouldn't say mean or discourteous. He said, I have to get to blah, blah. And I said, go ahead. We just happened to bump into each other in the hallway. And I only knew it was Frank Herbert because Paul Williams told me it was. I met Robert Heinlein, great gentleman. Not at all the rabid right winger they made him out to be. He was a libertarian and had some quite liberal views. Oh, and Theodore Sturgeon. Ted Sturgeon was just a living doll. He was so nice and sweet. I briefly met Robert Silverberg and Terry Carr and their wives. Didn't really have any contact with them after that. They just came to see Phil when we were in San Francisco for just one night. I don't know the Chilean author Roberto Bolano. I either read or should have read things by Borges and who wrote now I can't think of the name of it. It was a movie with Sean Connery, but there's also a book that the movie was based on where they're burning all the books in the library. Crazy Inquisition. Ah. I've started on Tolkien's work. I just don't get very engaged in the books, but I love the movies. Oh, I was beginning to think you were talking about the book, Charlie. Okay. Never met Larry Niven or Alfred Bester. Borges is Bolano's main influence. Thank you, Lucas. Oh, Umberto Eco, The Name of the Rose. Thank you, Lucas. From the little bit that I told you, you came up with the author and the title. Great book, great movie. Yeah, he was Italian. And I've read some books, by the way, by Walter Bosley, who is not rich and famous, but you really ought to check out at least his nonfiction work. Oh, Fahrenheit 451. That was quite a movie and book. Isn't that Ray Bradbury? Oh, I loved Zardoz, Freeman. I ought to watch that again. Wine. It's actually a collection of stories by Ray Bradbury. And I read G.K. Chesterton. No, that's a name that keeps popping up in reviews that I read, but I haven't actually read Chesterton. Phil used to read book reviews and then speak as if he had read the book. And the same with movies. He'd read the reviews and speak as if he had seen movies. It's easy. I like William Faulkner's work, especially The Sound and the Fury. But most people don't like that novel. They get confused. Uh-oh. Although there is some dialogue between the characters, dang Alka-Seltzer, and some action, most of it is internal monologue, the thoughts of the character. And since the main character is autistic and not very smart, and he's the first one at the opening of chapter 1, trying to describe a game of golf, but he doesn't know the word golf. He talks about hitting and balls flying. And it's kind of sad, this Southern family that's really living in poverty and having to sell their land. They've sold the pasture where Benny used to have his pet pony. They don't even have the pony anymore because they're poor. And he doesn't understand why instead of his pony in the pasture, it's these men playing golf. Well, they had to sell it. J.G. Ballard. No, I don't think I've read any of that. I have on my stack of books to read one by C.L. Moore and Henry Kuttner. Catherine Moore, his wife, used her initials because people wouldn't buy science fiction written by women. Boy, has that changed. Ursula K. Le Guin, for example. She had an inn because her parents were famous anthropologists. They dug up old bones. And one of them, I think it was one of her parents, wrote Ishi, the last of his kind, the last survivor of an extinct Native American tribe in California. He was found starving because idiotic tourists had taken all his food stashes for souvenirs of their travels. And he spent his last days in a museum where people could watch him performing all the things that he'd learned to do, like making food and shelter, cooking his food, etc. Oh, Freeman is always singing the praises of David Brin. Okay. And Etsi Quintia Penitentia agite? I don't know. What is that, penitence or? The Way to Eden by Mark Vonnegut, Kurt Vonnegut's son, is a better book dealing with insanity. Well, Benny in Faulkner's book is not insane. He's just stupid. Lucas says penitentiagite. I don't know what that means. It's a medieval saying taken from Echo's novel. Oh, penitence. Mark Vonnegut suffered from a schizophrenic hallucinations during a road trip. Famous line from Name of the Rose, and I don't remember it. Yeah, do penance, something like that. Hi, Ruan. Yeah, I'm almost at the 2 hour mark. I'm going to have to watch The Name of the Rose again. I have too many things to read to go back to the book. I think there's a cat wanting in. Let me see. Yeah, there's a kitty here. Let's open the door. Hi, Patches. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, the little kitties came in. Shall I open a can for you guys since you were good enough to come in? Cats. Yes, look. I got a can of something here. It's salmon dinner. Yes, indeed. There, here goes. They're cats. All right. Et Sequentius says it's penitentiagite is a rallying cry derived from the Latin poenitentium agite, meaning the same. Okay. Agite is kind of like agitate in English. Patches, knock it off. Did you come in just to pester me? Come and say hi to your adoring fans. The purr motor is going. I don't know whether you can hear it. What? What? Yeah, you're a wiggle worm. Okay, hop down then. Oh, it's like act in English, Lucas says. Yeah, okay. Patches, quit. Leave me alone. Go eat your canned food. As soon as Sweetie's finished, Sweetie won't let him have any till she's done. I said him. Patches is a her. Yeah, you're a little scamp. And a scallywag. And a pest. Quit it. I guess nothing will do but treats for the ravenous Patches. Okay. David Brin's best book, Startide Rising. Well, see, I haven't actually read much science fiction outside of Phil's work. You cats are just gonna make me totally crazy. I want my turkey. Last time, which was before COVID, they forgot me and didn't bring me any food, and I got a friend to go and get me some. There's a million reasons why I cannot go to the community dinner. I don't think I can sit in those chairs long enough to enjoy eating the dinner. They aren't just uncomfortable, they're painful. And on top of that, I'm very slow at eating, mainly because of the hiatal hernia. I'm not supposed to stuff my tummy all at once. And yeah, I could bring food home, but all in all, it's easier on me to eat the meal at home. I don't do well in crowds. Freeman says a confusing book that becomes excellent, World of Patovs by Larry Niven. Okay. I hear a car door. Maybe my dinner's here. Or my feast. This would be more lunch than dinner. I'm past the 2 hour mark, you guys. I jumped out of the thingy, the camera at the laptop. It's been